I'm really hoping that my lighting's not like terrible right now, but hello, my name is Kayla and welcome to my channel. This is a writing blog of me writing my latest short story, A Lover's Tick, which is inspired by the song Cruel Summer by Taylor Swift. Check out my Kim Possible outfit. Call me Beat Me if you need a Taylor Swift song turned into a horror story. I'm aware of how lame that was. So I started this a while ago. I had quite a few openings for A Lover's Tick, and I ended up obviously going with the one that I went with. And this isn't the final draft of it, which I think I specify so many times coming up, but I think originally I wanted it to start out in a club so that I could have, you know, like those like club lights kind of like, yeah, because I was just thinking very colorful lights. But then I also really wanted fireworks. So I also had another opening where Bobby wakes up in a hotel room and the fireworks are kind of coming in through the window. And he goes and he meets Abigail at the hotel pool. And it wasn't until a little toying with it that I decided I wanted it set at a lake. So I don't know if I actually captured me kind of going back and forth with these openings or not, because I really wish I would have started documenting this series like from the very first story and from the very beginning, because I think I missed a lot of sometimes your brain, you have so many ideas going through your head that you don't remember what came first, and so you're like, yeah, this came first, then you're like, no, wait a minute, this came first. And unless it's like super memorable, because like if your brain's all jumbled like mine is sometimes, it's just really helpful to have these vlogs to kind of look back on exactly when I decided something, and I really hope that I stick with them and remember to do them, and I hope that you enjoy seeing my process of writing these. This is basically kind of documenting me writing my short stories for the project that my friend Ashton and I are doing together. And for this leg of the project, what we're doing is we are taking Taylor Swift songs or getting inspiration from Taylor Swift songs and turning them into horror stories. Sorry, my cat. So far, I have done 4 stories. As far as, well, when this video comes out, maybe 5. I'm working on the 5th one now. My first story was The House Held by Ivy, which was inspired by the song Ivy. My second one was Monster at Midnight, which was inspired by the song New Year's Day. And then my third one was The Girl in the Weeds, inspired by the song Seven. Fourth one was Devil in Devlin Castle, inspired by the song Enchanted. Now, so far, I have been kind of hit and miss. I've only really had 2 that I've been really proud of so far, and that was The House Held by Ivy and The Girl in the Weeds. The one that I'm currently working on is inspired by the song Cruel Summer. Title is undetermined. I'm hoping that I'm almost done with this tonight. I'm doing something a little different than what I typically do, because really I'm more of like a character writer. I like to get kind of inside my characters' heads, and this one isn't so much that, and I'm also trying to make it a bit shorter than I typically do, because I've been really terrible at writing short stories, which is why this project came about, so I can practice that. And I'm trying to not make it go above 10 pages. So I think I'm about at 6 pages now. I've been on the struggle bus. I was really on the struggle bus with my last story that I did, and I think it shows. But hopefully this one is on the right track. So I'm gonna write for about a half hour and then call it a night, because I have been editing another project all day. So I finished a very rough draft tonight. I don't know how I like it, because I didn't really take the time to read over it. I am very tired, and I just kind of wrote what was on my mind, and it's probably going to change a lot. But that is future Kayla's problem, not a tonight Kayla problem. Maybe tomorrow I can really look it over and see what direction I was trying to go and really just kind of flesh it out. But for right now, this is gonna have to do because I'm exhausted. I don't know what time it is. Today is July 9th, and I'm about to look over my horror story inspired by Taylor Swift's song Cruel Summer. I am trying to kind of get that finished up this week, no matter what the end result is. Like, I can go back and edit it for myself later after I post it, it's fine. But I'm trying to have narrators for this one other than myself. So I'm trying to kind of get that to them way ahead of schedule. So I'm going to try to finish that up by like Friday or Saturday. Probably more so Saturday or Sunday, actually, because I realize I have some stuff to do this weekend. But let me see how much I have to do in here, and hopefully it's not too bad. Like, I have a feeling that it kind of starts dropping off a little bit near the end, but we're about to find out. I have both of my screens up, and I'm going to be reading like the PDF version and then editing in the Word document. I don't know why, but it's kind of easier for me to catch mistakes on a PDF file than it is a Word document. I don't know if anyone else feels that way. Maybe I feel more like a reader when I'm doing this, but that is what I'm about to do now. I've printed out my draft for Cruel Summer, my second draft, and I don't know if I can really call it my second draft because I've kind of been editing as I go along, but I printed it out, given it to my husband. Once he gives me his feedback, I will send it off to a friend and get their feedback. I'm trying to work on like shortening my stories to really like see if I can actually write like a short story, and this one's about 8 pages, which is the shortest short that I've ever written. So hopefully I can, it's not like, I don't know if it's lacking or not, but I guess people will tell me. But if it is, as I stated before, I'll just post it and then go back and like expand it on my own time for myself. I'm pretty happy with some of it. Some of it I'm not really sure. I'm also not sure if it's because I've looked over it too many times or if I'm just really tired, but the point is I'm just trying to get this out so that I can get it to the person who will be narrating. And I'm hoping that my first attempt at doing like a less character-driven story is okay, because that's typically where I like thrive, are my like building character stuff. I haven't even named this short story yet because I'm really terrible at coming up with names, but this will be out next month, so August. It'll be probably like August 13th. I don't know when this vlog will be out, but I'm assuming that I'm not finished with this yet because I still need to wait for some feedback. I am a little shocked because my husband actually did not have that many notes for this short. Typically, even when he really likes something, when it comes to my short stories, he'll have more notes than he did. There's only one part where he actually had much of anything to say, and that was that on page 5 it was like Bobby. Basically I said Bobby's name a lot, and at one point that was actually intentional, and I can't remember the exact wording of it, but it is when he is drunk in the back of the car on vampire venom, and Asher's face keeps kind of like, it's like, oh, in front of Bobby, like beside Bobby, inches from Bobby's face, whatever it was. I can't remember what I wrote. But so that part's actually intentional, but I do need to go back and see if I can kind of cut out some Bobbies. Cut out some Bobbies, because it's just a lot, but also it's very kind of hard to do that when basically the two main characters, and aside from the character of Abigail in the very beginning who isn't shown again, the two characters are men, so to say he or his a lot can get confusing in a lot of paragraphs. So that is why I use their names so often, and I think I'm gonna have to see if there's a way to kind of remedy that. I'm not really sure if there is, but we'll find out. So that's actually a really good thing, because this means I'm kind of ahead of schedule to start on my next story whenever I kind of get my butt moving to do that. I just kind of have to give this story to my friend now after I edit and see if I can cut out some bobbies and ask him his thoughts, and then I'm hoping that I am kind of like nearing the finish line here. This is very surprising because I think I mentioned it the other day, it is not as in-depth, like character-wise, it's not as character-driven as most of my stories are, and it's about 8 pages, so it's a lot shorter than my typical stories. It's weird for me because part of me is like, what do you mean the stories? Like, you liked this story because it's really short. You don't really get to know the character as well, but I guess like that's fine sometimes. I don't know, this is what this project's for anyway, is just kind of experimenting, and some people might like it, some people might not, but at the end of the day, I guess I'm trying new things, and that's good. Whether it works out or not, I know some of mine haven't exactly worked out, Devil and Devlin Castle, Monster at Midnight. So I think I was actually supposed to go and edit the bobbies out, and then send it to my friend to see what he thinks, but I don't know that I'm in the mood because I just did a lot of editing in my manuscript today. Oh, we'll see. We'll see where I am, what my energy level is in about an hour or so. I might just be plopping my butt down on this couch right here and watching some TV. Sorry, I know this isn't the best angle. I was able to send my draft to 2 of my friends, and they both said they really liked it. So I think all I have to do is just edit some little tiny minor things, and then I'm kind of just good to send to my narrator. And I'm just so thrown off. Like in a good way, because I am not used to writing stories so like short, and it seems to be received well. I just actually finished an interview for Ashton's story, It's Been Waiting for You, and that's already up by the time because this won't be up until August, but so that's done. I just edited it. I'm not sure that I did as well of a job editing it as I would like. I think that this story is about like 2,000-ish words. I'm gonna have to actually go back and look. I don't know exactly how long it is. I actually already have like the thumbnail created and everything, and I already know that it's kind of like a lame title, but I'm like, coming up with titles is like the bane of my existence, and I really was like, okay, what do I do here? Okay, so vampire, a parasite. What else is a parasite? Okay, like a tick. And then I really wanted to play off of the album name, since Cruel Summer's from the album Lover. And I was like, okay, what about like a lover's tick? Like, I feel like it is really cheeseball lame, but like, I don't know. I kind of feel like I wanted to go there because Lover is kind of like a very optimistic, for the most part, like very cheesy, oh, I'm so in love kind of album. And I love it. I think it's so much fun. So I was like, let me just play off of that and go really cheesy for the for the title, even though this is not a love story. I wish that I would have put a little bit more research into this one, but this one was kind of not as I stated before, not as character driven, and therefore also not as like, it's not as lore driven either as I would have liked for it to be, but I feel like it's a pretty solid like little snippet of, okay, something's happening, here's what's happening. But I really wanted to kind of go back to some of the like not as pretty looking vampires. Like, he's pretty at first, but once he starts kind of sucking our main character's blood, he kind of gets like that bloated kind of purplish grayish kind of look, because he's just sucked blood. So that's where like the okay, it's fine. So that is where the purplish kind of color comes from, is because he's bloated and everything from just drinking blood. I'm wondering how many people are going to kind of catch the name of Bobby. My cat is kind of just glorious, and I don't think I can continue this video right now. Janina! For the next story that I do for October, I really want to try to dig in a little more to, oh my gosh, this is, I don't think I'm really going to get much done because my cat keeps trying to go in front of the camera and then my dog keeps groaning. So I guess future Kayla doesn't need that much of an update. All right, well, I had my interview with Ashton for this story at 2:30. I'm in a mood today, you guys. I found the version that I should have sent her, but what happened was I sent a version to my narrator, and then I got some feedback, and one of the main things was like, oh yeah, that is a little confusing. How could she put her head on his shoulder when she's holding a bottle and swimming with one hand and she can't touch? So I have, anyway, so I went and I started changing some stuff because I didn't want to do like the major edits yet, but I started doing some edits, and then I sent Ashton the version that I started editing, and I think that I completely changed her putting her head, like Abigail putting her head on Bobby's shoulder, and then I changed it to something about like her, like kind of like her head bobbing above water, and then still in there it has she jerked her head from his shoulder, or like from him or something like that, and she's probably gonna be reading that like, what the hell? Like, so hopefully it's not too confusing. I did finally find the version that I should have sent her. I will be surprised if there aren't any questions that she has due to me beginning to edit and not editing fully. So, whoops. But, yeah. I got set behind a little bit. I wanted my editing to be done already, but I'm still waiting on some recordings, which I'm very appreciative for the recordings people are sending me today, because I know that it was kind of last minute asking them because things didn't go according to plan with other options, and I'm hoping I can edit that, like the whole story, later tonight, because I planned on doing other things this weekend that are kind of like important projects to me, so I hope that I can kind of edit all of that. Sorry, I'm not really looking at the camera a lot. Also, I think I've been mumbling a whole lot, but whew, I'm very appreciative of everybody who has helped me with this, and whew, today's weird. All right, it is the 11th, and I'm just now getting around to recording my part of A Lover's Tick, because I didn't want to record my part until I had another part in. I'm very tired, so I was supposed to do this before the weekend, but things didn't go according to plan, so I'm tired. It's not going to be a very good recording, probably, on my part anyway, not anyone else's part but mine. I did get everybody else's parts in, so thank you everybody who helped me. But yeah, I'm exhausted. I don't feel like doing this right now, but this comes out Tuesday, so I kind of have to. I'm still editing. Ignore my super greasy hair. It's taking longer than I thought that it would, but I think it's like 4:30 right now, so I'm definitely not working on anything else today, but I hope that I can figure out how to like kind of level everything. That's the one thing that I didn't think about when having a full cast, was the different levels and the different mics. And I'm sitting here like, oh, not an audio professional, how do I do this? So this is going to be fun to try to figure out. I think my friend Andrew told me to put it into Audacity, like the whole thing, and like to do something. I can't remember what he said, so I'm gonna have to Google it because my brain doesn't work. But so maybe I can put it into Audacity and figure out like the levels and make everybody kind of match, because I do not know what I'm doing when it comes to audio. I know how to make someone sound louder and to make someone sound lower or not as loud, but I don't know how to actually like match levels. I'm sure it's probably like a simple thing that I could Google, but I haven't done that because I've been editing everything else together, so maybe I'm going to have to Google that. And I don't know if I'm going to need, there's another program that I know people use all the time, but if it ends up being really complicated, then I guess this is just going to be an all over the place kind of levels thing. But I guess that's what happens when different mics and yeah. So I uploaded the A Lover's Tick to my drafts on YouTube last night. And then I was like, oh man, I wonder if I can find like a way to make my mom's voice sound more like she's on a telephone. And I did eventually find something in Adobe to where, hi Sanina, to where it sounded slightly more telephony. So I am right now letting it kind of download. It is 10:48 on the 13th. So I have a few hours before I upload it. Whoa, hello. And I feel like I accidentally said something that came off very rude when I did the interview with Ashton. I'm not sure if it came off rude. Sometimes I think I come off rude because I overthink things. Basically, I think I said it in here too. I think I said something along the lines of, I should have had Baron voice the main narrator and Bobby, and then basically had Michael voice Asher, because it makes more sense for the main narrator to be also the voice of the main character. That's what I meant. And I feel like it came off like I should have just had them swap roles, and that's not what I meant. Although I feel like they both could have pulled off either of them very well. It was just like a thought of like, oh, that probably would have made more sense, huh? So I hope it didn't come off rude, because I didn't mean for it to come off rude. Because I feel like Michael did a very good job as Bobby, and Baron did a very good job as Asher and the main narrator. It was just kind of the thought of like the way things make sense as opposed to like how a story is. Watch nobody even think anything of it, and then I make them think of something of it because I said this. But so I hope that didn't come off rude. But anyway, I'm very, very appreciative of everybody who helped me with this. And because there were some hiccups, I didn't get to spend as much time editing as I really like initially wanted to. But I think if I do a full cast again, I have a little bit of a better idea of maybe how to do things. I am really struggling with kind of getting the levels like kind of even, because I don't really know how to work with audio levels. I had a very brief kind of lesson on it in the past, but I don't remember. So I'm hoping that the audio is not all over the place, and I'm also really hoping that the audio is loud enough for people, because sometimes when I do this, it sounds completely fine on my computer, and then my husband will go to listen to it on his computer, and he's like, yo, that was really low. I had to turn my volume up all the way, and it was still kind of low. And I'm like, but my volume was only on 30, and it sounded fine on my computer. And oh man. So anyway, hopefully I get this uploaded and that it sounds good and loud enough, and not too loud, not too low. Whew. It's a learning process, you guys. Oh, hi, baby boy. Hi, buddy. I love you. You're so precious. So precious. Oh, the other thing, I cannot remember if I said this with Ashton either, but I feel like I keep forgetting to mention, like, because I don't have, like, I didn't pull, like, a million different things from this song. It was more so, like, he looks up grinning like a devil, and I'm drunk at the back of the car, and then, obviously, the vending machine. I think, now I could watch this and be completely wrong, but I think I forgot to mention that the park, Everwood Park, is supposed to be a nod to Evermore, which I'm sure people can kind of catch on to, but I feel like I forgot that. Again.